Hey everyone, a lot of FPS monitoring tools out there aren't very good. Maybe they're big and clunky, or it's hard to actually read the data that they're trying to show you, or they're not very customizable, or yeah, they just don't look very minimalist and sleek, which sometimes you want. They get in your face a bit too much when you're gaming. But luckily the power of Reddit has done it again. A user by the name of Violetmars posted a sleek design concept for new FPS tracking software 4 days ago, and then last night they posted that it has come to fruition, because they worked with another Reddit user called SlimDood, who is a Portuguese developer in real life by the name of Danilo. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name, but basically they actually worked together and launched this bit of software which you can download and try out. And I've been trying out all morning, so I wanted to walk through the pros and cons of it and show off why I'm actually really excited about this software. So this software is called CleanMeter, and one of the reasons I'm really excited about it, even though it's got a clean modern interface, one of the other reasons I'm really excited about it is the fact that SlimDood and Violetmars are working together quite a lot, and they listen to feedback and they're pumping out releases quite quickly. And that should hopefully end up with a really good, really sleek, really powerful FPS tool, which is free as well. And even though it's fairly usable right now, once all the bugs are ironed out, and I'll talk about the bugs later on in this video, once they're all ironed out, I think we'll end up with a really cool, sleek bit of software. So this is CleanMeter, and this is the actual interface once you've installed and set it up, which I'll show off in this video. So under app settings, you can start with Windows or start minimized, and then you've got the overlay settings. You can choose what display you actually want it to go onto. In my case, I want it on my main monitor, and you can choose exactly where you want it to appear. Or say you can choose exactly, it's the top or the bottom, maybe left, right, or center. So you've got those 6 positions. I don't want to hold up 4 fingers then. You've got those 6 positions showing where you actually want it to be. But it starts a little bit down, so basically even if you have in the top right, you're still going to be able to access, you're going to be able to close windows and things like that. So that's quite good. You can customize the graph type as well, so you can say you want your temperature and your usage stats to show up, more circular, or you can have them as bars, or you can just turn off completely, and then obviously things become a lot less wide. You're going to have less width to the FPS monitoring thing, and actually it shows as a percentage instead, and some people might like that. I'll probably leave mine on circular for now, but you've got those different options. You can then, for the orientation, you can mix things up. You can have it as a strip, or you can have it vertical, it's up to you. And then you can come to actually customize things exactly as you would like. So you can actually use this tool. You don't just have to use it for gaming. If you're using it just as a general system monitor, you can literally just turn off the FPS counts, and then you've got a nice sleek system monitor that looks really good. And it doesn't actually distract you much, even though it takes some getting used to new software. I find this doesn't distract me very much when it's open. And again, you can have your GPU settings as well, including your VRAM usage. You've got your CPU temperature and usage, and also the RAM as well. So if we do some gameplay demos, I'm just in Rocket League completely knackering this shot. That was absolutely terrible. But you can see the FPS monitor there, down there on the left, and you can barely see it. It's just really sleek, gives you all the information you need, but it doesn't get in the way either. And as I said earlier, you can move its position, which I'll show you a bit more later on. Let's try again. That is not a very good frame in for the shot, but yes, I just about scored. There we are. And again, FPS monitor looks really good down there. Now, if we do Serious Sam, just in Mayhem mode for now, I'll do a slightly longer demo. So at the moment now, I've got my monitor stats over there on the right, and it looks really good. I've got my full data as well. I've got my RAM and my VRAM usage as well, because originally I didn't tick the right box, so I'll show you how to do that later if you're not getting that through. So you can see the full thing there. I've got it as bars as opposed to circular for the actual visualization. I got my frame rate time and obviously my FPS too. Obviously I don't have VSync enabled for this old game, so my FPS is just really high, but it's just a really good sleek monitor. And as I said, you can move its position as well, and you can disable or enable various stats as well. Oh, I suck at this game. Where's my shotgun? Where's my shotgun? Nope, that's not it. Yes, brilliant. I absolutely suck at this game. This is not advice on actually how you play this game, because I'm really terrible at it. But yeah, you can see the FPS monitor just looks really nice, really sleek, and I really like it. It does exactly what it needs to do, no more, no less, and I'm really excited to see what happens in the future with this. So as you can see from this gameplay footage, this is quite a powerful bit of software. It shows you quite a lot of information, but in a really sleek, clean, minimalist way, which is one of the reasons I really like this, because it doesn't get in the way as much as some of the other FPS tracking tools. I've actually paid for FPS Monitor, which is probably the most powerful bit of software out there, and that is incredibly customizable, but it does get in the way a lot, and even though you can tweak things, you'll probably be spending half an hour to an hour actually configuring things, and most of the time, especially if you're just doing casual gaming, something like this will work a lot better. So I think going forward, I'll probably be using this going forward instead of FPS Monitor or Steam's inbuilt one or something like that. But there are some issues, so now that comes to actually how to set this up. And right now, this is actually dependent on MSI Afterburner, which doesn't mean you need an NVIDIA card or an MSI graphics card. I've actually got an AMD graphics card, the Sapphire RX 6700, and this software still works fine with that. You will need to actually go out and download MSI Afterburner, and then you actually configure things accordingly. So basically, when you're actually done installing it and you've got MSI Afterburner open, you've got to go through these instructions. You go to the settings by pressing the cog. You go to monitoring, and the first thing you've actually got to do is bring across 2 stats from HWinfo. So that's another dependency, and yes, most of us do have HWinfo installed as well. But if you don't, you're going to need to download that as well. So you'll need MSI Afterburner and HWinfo in order to run CleanMeter. And they are looking to reduce the dependency on MSI Afterburner and hopefully get rid of it completely and pull all the stats from HWinfo, but it's just worth knowing that this CleanMeter is more of a wrapper. You can't, it's not going to get the stats by itself. It's just a nice UI over the top of MSI Afterburner and HWinfo, ultimately. So we click these dots to get the data we need, and we will go to HWinfo and click on Setup. And I've already set this up, but basically what you need to do is click on Add, and you need to look for the physical memory load, and way at the bottom, you need to also look for the GPU memory loads. You need to actually add those in, so you've got them there, and then you click on OK when you're done, and you need to actually bring those in, otherwise it won't work. So that's in the README, and that's how you do it. However, there is something more you need to do, because at first I wasn't seeing the physical memory load or the GPU memory usage. In that case, what you've got to do is in HWinfo, you've got to actually open it up, go to the settings before it's running, and then you've got to make sure the shared memory support is enabled. If you haven't enabled that, and it does say this in MSI Afterburner as well, if you haven't enabled this particular setting, then you're not going to be able to add the physical memory load or the GPU memory usage, and then the CleanMeter app won't work as expected. So basically, HWinfo, make sure that's enabled, click OK, then you can start running that, and ultimately then you can go into MSI Afterburner and add the data that you need. Once that's done, the last thing you need to do, and I forgot to do it at first, which is my Rocket League stats didn't actually show the RAM usage, but when you're on the monitoring page, you've actually got to go along and tick absolutely everything. So if memory usage is unticked, you've got to select that, and then you come to the bottom, make sure that RAM usage is ticked and all the frame rate options and all that. If you don't click them, then as I mentioned, you're just not going to get some of this extra data. Either the FPS rate won't pull through, or the GPU VRAM usage and your system RAM usage won't actually pull through. So you need to make sure they're all enabled, apply, and then restart MSI Afterburner and restart CleanMeter if if it already is running. You do that, and then hopefully all the stats will start pulling through, and then in the overlay settings you can just scroll down. It's not clear at first, but you can scroll down with your mouse, and then you tick all the different options that you actually want to keep showing. So that's how you set it up. So right now, as I said, there is unfortunately that dependency on having MSI Afterburner running and HWinfo and having that shared memory support enabled. Then in CleanMeter you should get the data you need. So that is important to know. In terms of actually installing CleanMeter, I'll put the link down in GitHub, but basically you go to GitHub, which is perfectly safe, and I've virus checked all this as well. You go on GitHub, you go on the releases button over on the right, and then you can choose what version you want. So you might go for this one, which is more of a stable one, or I actually went for the pre-release and I just downloaded it there. And then it just runs as a portable app. So you can go directly into the folder, double click it, and then CleanMeter will appear and start running. You'll get everything you need. There are some bugs though that are worth pointing out. So firstly, as the README shows, if you look at the GitHub, right now it doesn't work in exclusive full screen mode. In other words, what most games actually launch at, it just won't show anything, and they are looking at fixing that bug, but right now it won't do that. So if you wanted to run with the very first versions, just to check this out and see what everyone's talking about, then you will need to go onto bordered or windowed mode to actually get this working. So that is one thing worth knowing. There are a couple of other bugs. Some people in the Reddit comments mentioned about right to left support not being completely there. So right now I think the software is actually hard-coded things to left to right, until such time as they can actually add proper right-to-left support. It doesn't also have a game toggle, so right now this will always show up even if your game isn't actually running. And some people don't like the actual system monitor being there all the time, even when they're not gaming. I don't mind it because I actually quite like seeing all my stats at a glance and it doesn't get in the way. But if you don't like it, you'll actually have to have Clean Monitor disabled and not running, until you go to play a game and then enable it just before. So that is worth knowing, but at some point they'll probably have a game toggle button or something like that. And that wraps up this video about CleanMeter. I think it's actually pretty cool, and what Violetmars and SlimDood, what they've both done in just a few days is amazing. It's absolutely amazing that, you know, Violetmars had this design, and then SlimDood, or Danilo, actually created this thing in a few days. I'm actually a software developer by trade, and it was really impressive to actually take a design to something that works, an MVP, in a few days. So kudos to you both, and taking my hat off to you. I actually talk through loads of different FPS monitoring stats in another video. If you wanted to check that out, it'll appear here somewhere. But actually, CleanMeter is a really, really good option, especially since it's free. But obviously right now it does have that MSI Afterburner dependency. I'll probably look back to this tool in a few months, or in 6 months or something, just to see how the progress has developed on it. But I'm really excited about this tool, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the thumbs up button, and please subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching.